Hi, I'm Dr. Celeste. Welcome to my channel. Happy New Year. It's 2024 and I work with a lot of families and kids, and I just want to give you a few ideas of ways that you can help strengthen your family dynamics this year. Are you ready? Let's go. Number one, communication. How many times have you heard people say things like, we need to learn how to communicate better, this person doesn't know how to communicate, etc., etc.? Well, lots of people are not even aware of what communication means. Communication, it has a purpose. It has a purpose and it has a conclusion. And so lots of times when we talk to each other, those things aren't happening. And that's why a lot of us feel frustrated when we have certain conversations with certain people. Now, with your kids, it's different, right? It's different than two adults having a conversation. And so sometimes things can be misinterpreted, which happens with adults too, but a lot of times it does happen with kids. I don't know how many times I've heard kids say things like, I don't really know what they expect me to do. And parents are like, what do you mean you don't know what I expect you to do, right? So one way that we can communicate better with our kids is making sure that when we are speaking to them, they aren't speaking over us, and then vice versa. When they are speaking, that we're listening, right? And that we are not interrupting them, we're not invalidating their feelings, we're not dismissing the things that they're saying. So that's one simple thing that you can do to improve your communication with your child. Number two, second thing we can do is to make sure we're having pretty clear expectations for our children and making sure that those expectations are realistic. So if you have a 5-year-old child, it's not really realistic to expect the 5-year-old child to do things that a 10-year-old can do. And if you have a 10-year-old child, it's not a realistic expectation that they can't do more than a 5-year-old child can do, right? And that might include bedtimes, different kinds of shows they're exposed to, et cetera, et cetera. However, the important thing is making sure that they're individual to your children. So not all of your children will necessarily have these same expectations. And I run into a lot folks having the same expectations for all their kids. All of your kids are individuals. All your kids are different ages. Maybe they're in the same age group, depending on how close together you had your children. But just make sure that you recognize your children are individual people and that your children aren't you. I know a lot of us, myself included, want to have experiences for their child or want to provide experiences for their child, maybe things that we didn't get to do as children. But again, we still have to acknowledge that our children are not us. Another thing that we can do to really help our family dynamics is quality time. And quality time actually can go for any member of your family, right? That can strengthen any relationship. But when we're talking about our kids, we want to make sure we're carving out quality time for them. And what I mean by that is time that is devoted just to spending time with them, not time that's also devoted to other tasks. A lot of us, we think, you know what? I think I spend plenty of time with my child, right? We do this, we do that. When in actuality, it's tied to other tasks that we have to do, right? And so then our child, when we hear from them, they don't feel the same way. It's like we're always busy, we never do anything. And so sometimes kids and adults just identify those things a little bit differently. So carving out time that is specifically geared towards spending time with your child and nothing else. And lots of us are busy, right? So that might be hard at times. Now, it doesn't have to be something that's lengthy, it just has to be something that's consistent. So if you find yourself not having enough time in the day to do the things you need to do already, just make a conscious effort. Say, hey, I'm going to spend 5 minutes. Let's sit here. Let's color, right? And coloring's not just for little kids, right? It can be very therapeutic to adults as well. But whatever you choose to do doesn't have to be lengthy, just has to be consistent. Another thing I recommend is self-care. And that can be a pretty cliche term for a lot of us. But one way I can define it is making sure you take care of yourself, making sure that you're okay. Because if you're not okay, the people that you take care of, they won't be okay either. Now, I love to travel, and specifically, I like to fly. And whenever you get on the plane, they give you the safety instructions. One of the things they tell you every single time is to make sure you put on your own oxygen mask first if the cabin pressure oxygen levels drop, right? Now, as a mom, it's not intuitive for me to think I'm going to put on my own mask before I put on my kid's mask, right? But that's something that they want you to do, because when you do that, you're better able to assist other people. Now, whether that's your child or not, but when you take care of yourself, you're better able to take care of other people. And that premise is true in life as well. If you don't take care of yourself as well, you can't do as much as you can usually do. Maybe you can't do the things that you usually do at all. And so I'll leave you with that, right? With these 4 things that you can do to improve your family dynamics this 2024. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Till next time.